Well, hello and welcome everybody to the New Health Conversation. And for all the censors out there that guard the community guidelines, we appreciate you. But at the New Health Conversation, you don't have to worry about us because the only thing we ever quote from are peer-reviewed human trial medical studies that are in the public domain. So everybody that's on the podcast can see that we're not making any claims. We do not need to make claims. We only rely on medical proof. We've been nutritional researchers for 23 years. I've written 4 best-selling books of some of the biggest medical doctors in the world, did 20 shows on public broadcasting and over 1,500 live lectures around the world. We pride ourselves on being able to supply people with real, legitimate medical information that they can then learn how to either lose weight or be healthier, etc. So we always want to tell you that we are very respectful of the community guidelines, and we're always sort of curious because we see other people on social media that are making all kinds of wild claims and they don't have one shred of medical evidence. We will never do that. So I just want to clarify that. Wow, a lot of people already, Sharon Henry and User and Welty and Healthy Life and Gloria and DK joined. Well, let's make this, I want to try and make this as succinct as possible because I know a lot of you come on, jump off, don't want to maybe engage at all. I get it. But also, if you like what you see, click on the thing. So let's get right to the bottom line. How in the world did she do this? This is not a diet. It's not about counting calories, and she wasn't allowed to exercise. I'll give you the simple sort of 3 parts to this. One, the researchers who created this are the #1 rated weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. They've done 100 studies over 40 years, and basically what they found, they never found a diet in 40 years that ever had people lose weight and keep it off. And 2/3 of people actually ended up gaining more weight than they lost. There's all kinds of other new medical studies now backing this up. So they said, we need to do one thing that's going to be very dramatic. Stop ever again putting people on a diet and having them count calories. Because the problem is the human body has no idea what a calorie even is. And I would say this, that I didn't, 24 years ago, I didn't know what a calorie is, and I've been a nutritional researcher for 23 years. So I would ask any of you, do you know the definition of a calorie? Because you're all counting them. Why are you counting them? So the researchers said we need to do something radically different. See, you're alive because of 3 things, and one of them is not calories: air, water, and nutrition. And the reason that diets are miserable failures in the long run is because they make you unhealthy, right? Yeah, this is going to shock all of you. When you go on a diet, you're reducing the amount of food you're consuming, but have they ever told you you're actually reducing the amount of nutrition? When your brain senses there's not enough nutrition, because it's the nutrition that runs your brain, your heart, your kidneys, your lungs, all your organs are driven not by calories, but by nutrition. So imagine when you go on a diet and you lower the amount of food you're consuming, you lower the amount of nutrition, guess what your body does? It slows down your metabolism. And that's why you plateau and ultimately gain all the weight back on these diets. But the other thing it does to you when you're losing lean muscle, it also slows down your own immune system. So you're literally making yourself unhealthy by going on whatever diet you're on now. And this may make you mad, but I don't care because you need to know. This is medical proof that you are not aware of. So the researchers said, here's what we're going to do. Instead of no calorie counting, what we're going to do is we're going to concentrate, we're going to find foods where we will be able to find foods where we can give you less food by volume, but increase the nutrition. So they put together a food list that you would get. That's what she did in this protocol. But only 30%, so whatever you spent at the grocery store last month, this month you're only going to spend, if you do this, you're only going to spend 30% there. But they're going to give you, the researchers created a list of proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables that were very high in nutrition and nothing to do with calories. And they give you serving sizes instead of calories. Very important. Now, don't get upset thinking, oh, it's too small. No. Your only hunger is never generated by calories. Your hunger is never generated by food. Your hunger is always generated by lack of nutrition. So the researchers said, we're going to make sure that you never go below an amount where the brain would think there's not enough nutrition to run all the organs. But only 30% of what you're going to consume. The other 70% literally comes from other researchers who had spent 20 years going around the world, to Russia, to Mongolia, to Tibet, South America, New Zealand, to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small amounts of food. So now they had the makings of what? A nutritional system. By the way, there are no products here. There's no products, okay? You're eating food. But here's the second part that's so unique. They created something called protein pacing. And they ended up getting a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. Now, what does that mean? It means that they had a new way of you eating food. 5 days a week, they let her and you two would have 4 meals a day, unheard of on diets. You start with these exotic foods from around the world. That's your breakfast. No food from the grocery store foods. Lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and a fourth meal after dinner from these exotic foods. The 4 meals, there's no option. It's not like, no, I'm going to do 3. No, you're not. Well, if you want to do this and get those kind of results, then I would assume you want to do what they did in the medical trials, right? So 5 days a week, you're going to have 4 meals a day. 2 days a week, you're going to do something that'll probably spin you out of control, called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not time restricted eating, not water fasting. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods around the world. But this time, you're going to eat 8 times a day. Yep. You're going to eat about every hour and a half. And diabetics on this, no insulin spikes. No problem. We had people weighing 300 pounds. They weren't hungry. If I can teach you anything, it's that you're never hungry for calories. You're never hungry for food. You're only hungry for thing you want in your body is nutrition. That's the only thing the brain can calculate. It doesn't know what a calorie is. It doesn't count calories. Why are you all counting calories? Because someone told you to. The other thing that I would say to you is we have 10. This protocol is now published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. Why is that a big deal? Because number one, they're what are called peer-reviewed human trial studies. It's as high as you can go in medical research. For example, no drug ever gets approved without a peer-reviewed human trial study. So to think that you have a nutritional health plan that's been through, so 10 of the journals decided to publish the results. They were so astounded by the results. They were safe. People were losing weight, like in her case. Look at that. She lost 21 pounds and 38 inches in a month, and wasn't even allowed to exercise. They wore Fitbits, but they weren't exercise. Now, why didn't she exercise? Because the researchers didn't want exercise to be part of this. Otherwise, you would say, well, she lost weight because it was diet and exercise. No, it wasn't. How many of you would give anything? How any of you would love to lose 20 pounds in a month? I'd love for anybody to put it in the chat. Or more importantly, if you were going to lose 20 pounds, and maybe some of you are trying to do that right now, how long will you give yourself to lose 20 pounds? And she's not the only one. I'm going to show you some other before and afters in a moment. But I want to finish up on the medical part of this. In a month's time, I already told you, hunger came down 41%. Blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides all came down in just 30 days. She lost no water weight and gained 6 to 9% lean muscle with no exercise. That's the tip of the iceberg. The number one thing that they found here was, in every one of us suffer from it, including me and you, this new medical syndrome. You have it, whether you know it or not. It's called TDOS. T for toxins, D or toxicity, D for nutritional deficiency, O for being overweight, S is for stress. It's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. Oh, Peter Greenlaw, who's that? Oh, I guess that's me. I discovered it. This is a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. So we are, in case you didn't know it or not, you're breathing, drinking, eating chemicals on a daily basis, and as they enter your body, the immune system can't deal with it. The liver is overwhelmed. So what happens is the body, as its last resort, takes the chemical and stuffs it inside your fat cells. That's why you all complain to us. Not just how much weight you have, but the amount of fat you have in the body. If you look at her stomach on day 1, you can see it there. And then look at her stomach on day 30. But her whole, look at how much she shrank, including her hip area. This is not a diet. If you're thinking this is a diet, you're on the wrong podcast. If you think it's about counting calories, you're on the wrong podcast. If you think it's about 10,000 steps, not that the researchers are against exercise, don't hear me say that. But the reason that they limited exercise because they didn't want exercise to be an outlier. Otherwise, everybody's saying, well, they lost weight because it was diet and exercise. No, it wasn't. So the point is that you're all in a position. Let me ask any of you, how excited would you be to lose 20 pounds in a month? Yeah, and tap on that screen. I see the likes were at 200. Come on, let's really tap on that screen and show me that you like this content. So Splenda and Celine and 362, let's see, Amy and Rattle and Tiffany and Eagle Putt, oh, that's cool. Eddie, the Akoas. So what you have to understand is this is going to make every diet obsolete. Let's look at some other people, and then with the new people coming on, yeah, the new health conversation. How? That's what I'm going to, well, you missed me explaining that. All right, let me do it again. All right, so a lot of new people coming on very, very fast. So let me explain to you how in the world she did this. First, it was invented by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the entire world. By the way, let me stop right there. For the people that already heard this, do you see right above her head there in blue, the new health conversation? That's the website. And you're not allowed to do links on here. So you put that in Google. By the way, on the website, there's nothing to buy. There's not my books. There's nothing there except the medical proof. I'll show you right now, everybody. And then I promise I'll explain to all the new people. So you type in the new health conversation. You can see it right there. And I'm going to show you all the website. Let me see if I can invite this person in. I'm trying to invite you in. I think it's Shelley. Well, you didn't click on whatever you need to click on to be part of this. I'm really sorry. Huh. I don't know how that, I always click on admit somebody and then it doesn't let me. Okay, well, let's come back to here. So what the researchers did, they had done, first of all, they did 100 studies for 40 years, thousands of people on every kind of diet there was. And what they concluded was, well, it wasn't they concluded, the evidence was very, very strong, that no diet ever had people lose weight and keep it off long term, and 2/3 of everybody gained more weight than they lost. Why was that? Because people were counting calories, and the human body has no idea what a calorie is. I'd love for anybody to give me the definition of a calorie. You're counting calories and you don't even know what they are. Why would you be doing that? I didn't know what a calorie was 24 years ago, so don't feel bad. So the researchers said the key to life was going to be one thing. Well, there's three things that keep you alive: air, water, and nutrition. So their goal was to abandon calories. Like on this is no calorie counting. No calorie counting. Instead, what they're going to give you is serving sizes. And they're going to give you a grocery list that you're going to take to your grocery store. But only 30% of the food you ate last month or bought at your grocery store, that's a better way to say it, you're going to buy this month. Proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. No calorie counting, only serving sizes. But only 30% of what you're going to consume. The other 70% of what they consumed is really what made this work. And there were other researchers who'd gone around the world to places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition and very small amounts of food. So now they had what they were going to have people eat. But they didn't stop there. They created a nutritional system by creating a completely different way of consuming food. So 5 days a week until you lose your weight, she had 4 meals a day. She started with these exotic foods from around the world, from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, with these huge amounts of nutrition, but small amounts of food if you looked at it in a bulk way, right? So that's called protein pacing. Then 2 days a week, she did something, now this will spin all of you out of control, intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted eating, something totally new. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods around the world. But this time she ate 8 times a day. She was eating every hour and a half. Do you know diabetics in this? No one had an insulin spike. Number 2, people weighing 300 pounds. We're not hungry. You're not hungry for calories. Please understand. You're only hungry for one thing, and the hunger comes from what? Lack of nutrition. That's that simple. It's only the nutrition that runs all your organs. So the researchers proved that that was what mattered, but also it wasn't just, oh, let's take all the nutrition and have you do lunch and dinner. That didn't work. For whatever reason, spreading it out and pacing it over about 10 or 12 hours was the most successful they were. That's how they created this. That's what they did ultimately in the end. But there's more to it. In a month's time, hunger came down 41%. Blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides all came down dramatically in a month. And the big one was they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis proving this was removing toxins from the body, which we're storing in our fat cells. That's why you have all that fat that you complained to us about. Look at her stomach, everybody, on day 1. See if I can get a better view of that. Oh, there we go. See, day 1. Look at her stomach and her hips, and then look at day 30. That's with no exercise. This is real. This isn't made up. It's not Photoshop. So it's not just, look, she lost 38 inches from her neck to her ankles. But look at what she lost in the abdomen area. How many of you would love to have that happen with no exercise? Now, when we look at Julie, how about this? 35 pounds in 37 days. Now, this is the one where people say, oh, you changed women. No, I didn't. This is the daughter of a friend of mine, 60 pounds in 3 months, everybody. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her stomach area. What do you all think about that? Tell me. What do you think? Please, someone give me a comment. What do you think? This is not a diet. This is going to change the world. You know, you heard, when you get older, you can't really lose weight. Oh, yeah, well, let's tell this guy that. He's in his mid-60s, 40 pounds in a month and 52 inches. Least important part of his story. Look at his lab work. Look at his A1C, went 8.4 to 6.4. Look at his triglycerides, 242 to 124. That's in 30 days, everybody. I'd love for anybody to comment. What do you think about this? Miss Keena, how? Oh no, Miss Skeena, I guess it is. I'm going to explain it to you right now. So let's go back to Kristen. Now, the reason that I typically use her, she only had 30 pounds to lose. So she loses 70% of what she wanted to lose in just 30 days. So let me give you the principle to make it as short as I can. They were not allowed to count. They didn't count calories. The researchers who created this are the top weight loss researchers in the world for 40 years. They had done 100 studies on, over 40 years on every diet out there and came to one conclusion. No diet they ever tested ever produced weight loss that people could keep off. We're losing the battle against weight loss. From 1990 until 2025, in 35 years, the obesity rates in this country have doubled, have increased by 100%. Something's wrong. And what's wrong is we're focused on counting calories and the human body has no idea what a calorie even is. So the researchers, here's what they did, simplistic. The key was this. We got to make sure that if you're going to lose weight, you have enough nutrition to run all your organs. Because if you don't have enough nutrition, it's not just hunger that you're triggering the brain to go in starvation mode, and it will use your muscles for fuel, slowing down your metabolism. That's why you've gained all the weight back. The other thing it does to you by losing lean muscle, it slows down your own immune system. So you're literally making yourself unhealthy. Whatever diet you're on right now, you're making yourself unhealthy. The number on the scale is the least important thing. So the researchers said what we need to do is give you foods with high levels of nutrition and lower quantities. That's what they did. And they made a grocery list that you all would get. Proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. But instead of calorie amounts, they give you serving sizes. Yeah. That was 30% of what you would eat. The other 70% didn't come from the United States. It came from these other researchers who've gone around the world to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, and New Zealand to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition in smaller amounts of food. So now they had the foods you were going to eat. So they created a nutritional system. It was now, okay, how do we use these foods? Because they're different than regular foods. We're concentrating only on nutrition. So 5 days a week, you'd have 4 meals a day. You heard me, 4 meals a day. You start with these exotic foods around the world, lunch from the grocery, dinner from the grocery, and a fourth meal after dinner from these exotic foods around the world. That's called protein pacing. And they actually got a registered trademark U.S. patent office for this new way of eating. And then 2 of the 7 days when you're doing protein pacing, she did something called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods around the world. But this time, she ate 8 times a day. She was eating every hour and a half. Diabetics on this, no insulin spikes. Diabetics were blown away on this because the medical, as a matter of fact, most of the diabetics in a month's time, their doctors who were monitoring them had to cut their meds in half because the need for insulin went down 41% in a month. This has never been seen before. That's why you need medication, because your body's telling you, give me more insulin to handle the sugar. Well, it went down 41% in a month. No wonder they had to cut their meds. But the biggest thing about this was through blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, they proved that this protocol was a detox. If you want to know the secret to this, it's a detox. It is not a diet. And they've got we have the medical proof. It's in the peer-reviewed human trial studies. That's why our stomach shrank so much, because we're storing these chemicals in our fat cells. And if you can remove the chemical, the fat cell shrinks. Please don't let anybody tell you burn calories on a diet or working out. Total rubbish. No such thing. You're born with a certain number of fat cells. You die with a certain number of fat cells. So unless you do liposuction or surgery, your fat cells shrink or expand. Hers expanded and then they shrank. So does this make sense to everybody? So Tiffany, that's what I've been explaining. Hopefully you have been listening. I don't know what at point you jumped on, so I'm sorry. If I didn't, if you didn't hear me, Tiffany, I'll repeat it again for you. This is not a diet. This is about changing everything that we thought we knew about diet, exercise, nutrition, and exercise. Well, you tell me if any of you have seen anything like this. She needs to lose 30 pounds. She loses 21 pounds in just a month. Or when you look at this older guy, come on, everybody, 40 pounds, 52 inches in 30 days. And you look at his lab work, his A1C from 8.4 to 6.4, his triglycerides, 242 to 124. That's in 30 days, not 30 weeks. I'd love for comments. So Tiffany, did you get to hear, and Miskina, am I mispronouncing your name? I apologize. So hopefully you both got a chance to. So Tiffany, did you? Yes, you heard what I explained. Does it make sense? And you understand now? Let me tell you the most important part for all of you. Do you see the above her head there in blue? Do you see that, Miss Miskina? Um, that's the website to go to. So what you all would do, hi, Oscar. What you would do is there's the website. You type in the new health conversation because that's not a link. You can't put links on here, so there's no links. There's the new health conversation. It'll take you to Google. Click on the new health conversation. There's the website. Nothing to buy. The only thing there is the medical proof, including number one, you see there, exclusive podcast with the number one weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. He'll tell you they're the top people. They will never recommend any form of traditional diet ever again. He said it'd be unethical. He said, you mean we're going to, now that we know this is possible, you think we're going to put people on a diet, have them go 8 weeks to lose 25 to 40% of their lean muscle when they can lose that kind of weight in a week and gain 6 to 9% lean muscle with no exercise? So you all have an amazing, amazing opportunity if you want to take advantage of it. The website's free to go to and we will not contact you. Let me repeat that. If you go to the website, the New Health Conversation, why would we need to contact you? That's the medical proof. If you're not convinced, then there's nothing we're going to say to you because we're not there to sell you or convince you. We're there to educate you and answer your questions. All the coaches have done this and they're volunteering their time to coach you because we got coached. How cool is that, everybody? So again, Tiffany, I want to make sure that you heard what I said. Just waiting for a few more people to come on because I'm going to repeat it again here probably several times as long as my voice doesn't falter. So Miss Skeena, does that all make sense to you? Yes? Yes, it does. Okay, great. So Miss Skeena, again, I just want to make sure, can you read the website, the New Health Conversation? Because I recommend everybody, don't believe me. I didn't do this research. But if you get a chance to hear the interview with the number one weight loss nutrition physiologist, they have no products to sell. Do you all understand this? There's no products here. It's food and a new way of consuming that they created. So what's their interest? They took 40 years to find the silver bullet for obesity and health. And they want to be able to spread it to as many people as possible. Like I said, there's no products to buy here, everybody. No products at all. So, who else? I see Beverly Jones. Okay, we got 521 likes. Come on, let's get to at least 1,000 or more. Hello, Helena. Hello, Luna. So who else would like to ask me a question? I'm going to go over it again here in just a moment. So, Tiffany, in case you didn't hear, I'm going to go over it again. So can we get some more taps on that screen to give me incentive to explain to you how they did this? No, I'm kidding. That doesn't matter. It only matters because it helps the algorithm and there's more people that we can help and more people that can reach. But when you look at this, everybody, how about 45 pounds and 60 inches in 30 days? And again, look at his A1C, 7.9 to 6.2. But look at his bad cholesterol. It went from 120 to 59. He cut it in half in 30 days. This is not a diet. All of these medical benefits are the biggest. Well, the number one thing on this, they tell you the secret to what it is. It's a detox. It's not a diet. And I didn't even tell you the best part about maintenance. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it up for 23 years. Maintenance. You know how simple maintenance is? Every morning, I have these nutrients from around the world. I have a lunch and dinner, and then every couple months, I do another 48-hour intermittent nutritional fast for detox, not for weight loss anymore. I've already lost my weight. I've kept it off for 23 years. Our goal here is to get you to maintenance as quickly and safely as possible and teach you how to stay there. The program is called R2M, Race to Maintenance. Does that make sense? Does everybody understand that? It's still strange to me that somehow I can't let people in. They come on, I see they want to join my live, and for some reason I click on them, and then does this work on someone? Yes. Oscar, it was invented by a diabetic chemist 25 years ago. Now it's evolved over the years, but wait a minute, Oscar, did you see this? Look at his A1C. Tell me if it's for diabetics. How about from 8.4 to 6.4 in 30 days? It was so amazing. The doctors, his doctor, well, all the diabetics on this, they had to cut their meds by 50% in 30 days. So metformin or glucophage or people on insulin, it didn't matter because that A1C and their blood sugar was dropping so dramatically. This is not a diet, Oscar. This is a different way of life. And in case you didn't know, Oscar, let me see if I can put it up there for you somehow. Oh, there it is. Is that going to work? No, that's not. I was just trying to see if I could put it in the chat. Well, I guess I can't. But you see, let me come back over here. Do you see Oscar above her name there in blue, the New Health Conversation? Give me a yes if you can see that. Because that's a medical website you can go to for free. We won't contact you. But if you like what you see, you can scroll down. Now, if you request a coach, make sure you put in there, I'm a diabetic. So we'll get your coach that's familiar with diabetics, okay? Just so you know. Hannah Thompson, hello. Oh, and Miss Gina, you're sharing from the live too. Thank you very, very much. All right. So yes, you see it. Okay, the New Health Conversation. So Oscar, here's what you do. You go to Google, you type in any of you, the New Health Conversation, because what you're seeing on screen is not a link, okay? And there's the New Health Conversation. You click on there, Oscar. Boom, there's the website. There's nothing to buy. We will not contact you if you go there. The only way we'll contact you, all of you, is if you contact us. I don't know how to be any fairer than that to all of you. It's pretty amazing, actually, isn't it? So let me just show you just a couple things why diets, if you're on a diet, let me read some of the latest research. This is a landmark meta-analysis by Tracy Mann and colleagues from UCLA, published in the American Psychologist, where they reviewed 31 long-term studies on calorie-restricted diets, and as they said, exposed the harsh truth. The analysis, listen to this about diets, everybody. The analysis concluded that dieting itself predicts future weight gain. They're telling you if you go on a diet, you're going to gain weight. How great does that sound? Let's go. Let's go diet and gain weight. This is how crazy this whole thing is. And then you've got people, this is pretty amazing. Here's Harvard Medical School. Stop counting calories. Here's what Harvard Medical School says. We've been taught that losing weight is a matter of simple math. Cut calories 3,500 and you lose a pound. But as it turned out, experts are learning that this decades-old strategy is totally misguided. They go on to say, the idea of a calorie in, calorie out, when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. She goes on to say, drop the calories notion, Stanford said. It's time to concentrate on what's in our food, not how much food we're consuming. That's what these researchers did, and they have nothing to do with Harvard. This whole protocol was based on a whole new principle that had nothing to do with counting calories. See, the problem with counting calories is this. Let me read the medical explanation of why, if you're counting calories, stop. The biggest failing of the calories in, calories out formula is it ignores that the body adjusts its control systems when calorie intake is reduced. So while the calories in, calories out formula can support people achieving weight loss initially, notice that word initially, the reduction in energy intake ensures the lost weight will be regained and more. So you have to understand that the fundamentals of counting calories are ridiculous. Your body has no idea what a calorie even is. So how does that apply to a body? It doesn't. But it's like, here's the thing. What they're doing with these diets. You have a round hole and a square peg. And what they're doing is giving you a bigger hammer. That square peg's never going to, that square peg will never fit in that round hole. That's what we're doing. This whole thing is completely crazy. It's out of control. It's nuts. So the researchers, after 40 years, 100 studies, they said, we're done with counting calories because they never could find a diet that they were paid to research where people kept weight off long term. So they said the key to life is three things. Well, air, water, and nutrition is how come you're alive. So they concentrated on finding foods that had high levels of nutrition in smaller quantities of food. They made a grocery list for all of you. 30% of what you would consume actually comes from your grocery store, organic, of course. Proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. But instead of giving you calorie amounts for her or anybody else, they gave serving sizes. That's very important that you understand that. Very important. but only 30% of what she was going to eat was from the grocery store. The other 70%, these researchers found other researchers who'd gone around the world to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food. So now they were ready for people to eat, but they created two new ways of eating, believe it or not. Well, one way, but two different kinds of days. So what they did, they got something called protein pacing. What happened is that 5 days a week, she was eating 4 times a day. But when she ate, how much she ate, and the sequence between made all the difference. It's called protein pacing. Breakfast was these exotic foods around the world. Lunch from the grocery store, dinner from the grocery store, and a fourth meal after what you normally would be done with the day, another meal from these exotic foods around the world. But keep in mind, they had small quantities of bulk, but huge amounts of nutrition. Then 2 days a week, she did something called intermittent nutritional fasting, not fasting or water fasting or time restricted eating. In those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods from around the world. But this time, she ate 8 times a day. She was literally eating every hour and a half or 2 hours. Diabetics on this, no insulin spikes. As a matter of fact, 300-pound people were not hungry because you're never hungry for calories. Do you all get that? Do you understand that? It has nothing to do with counting calories. That's ridiculous. The only thing your body runs on is nutrition. It doesn't run on calories. All these people, trainers, they want to get in fights with me, and I don't know what I'm talking about. It's already about calorie deficit. The hell it is. It is not. That's total nonsense. Complete and utter nonsense. I got study after study after study proving that. Even Medicare is saying Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. Our reviewers looked at studies and outcomes of many studies on calorie restricted to assess whether dieting is an effective treatment for obesity. The researchers found that 2/3 of people on calorie restricted diets or diets in general gained more weight than they lost. That's Medicare saying that. That's not me saying that. And yet these people want to come on and argue with me about it's about calorie deficit. The hell it is. It's not. You've all been bamboozled. You've all been, I don't know if I don't think they're doing it on purpose. I think they really believe this crap, but they don't have any proof to back it up because the medical studies are saying stop counting calories, including Harvard Medical School. What in the world are we doing, everybody? The researchers said, no, 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 we don't need to do that. Only thing your body, if we can figure out how to give you enough nutrition in the least amount of food possible, that's what's the goal, and they did it. In a month's time, hunger went down 41%. People's blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglyceride all came down dramatically in a month. And for the first time ever, and this is the thing you should be the most concerned about, every one of us, including me and you, have this medical syndrome called TDOS. What the heck's that? T for toxins, D for nutrition deficiency, O for being overweight, S is for stress. Oh, Peter Greenlaw. Oh, I guess that's me. I did discover the syndrome, and I have a registered trademark U.S. patent off. I'm not trying to impress you. I'm trying to make you aware. You're going on a diet that has no impact on the chemicals you're storing inside your body because when they come in our body, the body takes the chemical and stuffs it in your fat cells. That's why she's got that distended stomach. And then look at 30 days later. These researchers did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis proving, you know what this is? It's a detox. Secret's out. It's not a diet. And you obviously only do this until you get to your goal. Maintenance. How simple is maintenance? You have these exotic foods for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then every couple months do another 48-hour intermittent nutritional fast once you've hit your goals. I mean, we have people that need to lose 150 pounds, so obviously they're not done in a month. And most of you are in a position, you have to understand you can change your lives if that's what you want to do. Hello, Clarette. Hello, Now. Yeah, Noun, O8, OPX. A lot of interesting handles tonight. Depending on where you are, it's actually, oh my gosh, it's like 9:30 in the morning in New Zealand and in Australia. We have a lot of people. This goes all over the world. It's only in certain places that these researchers can ship. The United States, Mexico, Canada, I know New Zealand, Australia, and then I think the whole EU. I think Puerto Rico too, maybe. I don't know. I don't have anything to do with that. That's up to them. What we want to do is to show you. But what's so different about what we have 10, this protocol is published and the results in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. Can any of you show me an influencer who's got one medical study? You're following them. Admit it, you're following them. You're doing keto, you're doing paleo, you're doing time restricted eating, you're counting your macros. Let me tell you how ineffective, how pitiful those results are on those any of those diets, including this new big fad about count your macros. Really? Oh, listen to what the researchers are saying. These approaches, calorie counting and macro counting, deliver pitifully inadequate results with a meager 4 to 10 pounds in 3 to 6 months and a devastating 25 to 50% reduction in lean muscle mass that cripples your metabolism by 10 to 20%, weakens your immune system, increasing infection risk up to 20%, and triggers 50 plus weight regain beyond your starting points. I mean, did you read? I mean, 4 to 10 pounds in 3 to 6 months. She lost 5 pounds in a week. Do you see what we're up against? You're settling for that because there was no other alternative up until now. Until these researchers, thank God they never quit after 40 years. They kept doing diet after diet after diet, hoping one of them would work. None of them ever work long term. All the research says that. Another big study right here. Yeah, here it is. Why you shouldn't count calories. The idea, while counting calories, restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. What's even worse, 2/3 of people who try to count or restrict their calories gain back more weight than they lost. They went on to say counting calories increases chronic psychological stress and cortisol production, two factors that are known to cause weight gain. So the people coming on here, not any of you apparently so far, but they want to argue with me. You don't know what you're talking about. Really? Let's see. I've been in nutritional research for 23 years. I wrote 4 best-selling books, some of the biggest medical doctors in the world. I did 20 shows on PBS. I did 1,500 live lectures around the world at universities and hospitals and towns. They even flew me to China. And I'll be honest with you, for 22 of those 23 years in the medical world, all of this I'm talking about meant zero. Why? Because there were no peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. And for a medical doctor, that's the Bible. Peer-reviewed human, they would never, there's no drug ever getting approved without a peer-reviewed human trial study. Not a clinical study, not a scientific paper, not doctor recommended. You hear that all the time. That doesn't mean anything. Doctors will admit they take 10 to 15 hours of nutrition in medical school, maybe. So they're advising you about nutrition? Really? No, do whatever you want. I love one of my best friends is one of the top oncologists in the world and a molecular biologist. You know that one of these studies, I forgot to tell you this, had nothing to do with weight loss. It's published 6 months ago in Nature Communications, the #1 medical journal in the world. Here's the title of the study. Gut microbiome, that's your immune system in your gut. Remodeling and metabolic profile improves drastically in response to protein pacing and intermittent nutritional fasting. This has nothing to do with weight loss. It's improving your gut health. All your emotions start in your gut. So if you're anxious, if you're stressed, it's all starting in your gut. This thing is not a diet. It doesn't even work like a diet. It's nothing like a diet. Again, okay, so what did the woman do to achieve these results? Jazz, Tereka, how do you lose weight if calorie deficit doesn't work? Thank you all for asking. I thought you'd never ask. Okay, so I'm going to explain it to you. First of all, does anybody on here, and I'm not picking on Jazz or Tereka, do you know what a calorie even is? I didn't 24 years ago, so don't feel bad. So the researchers who created this, now listen to me carefully, they're the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. They had done 100 studies over 40 years on every kind of diet out there. Here's what they found. No diet ever worked long term, and 2/3 of people gained more weight than they lost. They were all about calories in, calories out, calorie restricted diets. So what they did to change the narrative, number one, if you do this, no calorie counting at all. Ooh, that's going to make you nervous. No calorie counting. They put together a list that you would get proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables based not on calories, but on serving sizes. And only 30% of the food you're going to eat on this would come from your grocery store. So whatever you spent last month on groceries, you're only going to spend 30% of that this month because your portion sizes are going to be smaller than what you used to. But don't panic. It's not about portion size. It's about the nutrition inside the portion. And these are the top people in the world. They chose the foods and the amounts you're going to consume. Got that? But the other 70%, because these research, they don't have a company. They don't sell anything. They're scientists, right? We don't sell you anything. So you're either buying 30% of this from your grocery store, you're buying from them, or 70% from these other researchers who've gone around the world to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition that you can't buy at your local grocery store. There are ingredients that came from Mongolia and from Tibet that just don't even exist in North America that do what? Massively lower stress and inflammation in the body. So now they had the two food groups. Now let's get down to what did they actually do? Okay, they invented a new way of eating called protein pacing. You heard me, a new way of eating. They got a registered trademark U.S. Patent Office on this protein pacing. 5 days a week, this is what you do. You're going to have 4 meals a day. You're going to start with these exotic foods from around the world. That's your breakfast. No food from the grocery store. Lunch from the grocery store. Dinner from the grocery store. And a 4th meal after dinner from these world's most perfect meals. 5 days a week, 4 meals a day. 2 days a week, you're going to do something else. This is until you lose your weight. You're going to do something for 2 days each week until you get to your goal called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these foods from around the world. But this time, you would be eating 8 times a day. What? Yes. Every about an hour and a half or 2 hours. And diabetics on this, no insulin spikes. And people who weighed 300 pounds, they weren't hungry. Because you've never been hungry for calories. Do you all understand that? This calorie counting thing should be banned, outlawed. It's nonsense. Your body has, as a matter of fact, no one can even tell me what the definition of a calorie is. I've had 9 people in a year give me out of 1,000 podcasts that I've done. I do 3 to 5 of these a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You do the math. So, but that's the least, you know what the most important part of this was? That this medical syndrome that all of you have, including me, called TDOS, T for toxins, D for nutritional deficiency, O for being over, and S for stress. It's a registered trademark U.S. Patent Office of a new medical syndrome. Oh, Peter Greenlaw, who's that? Oh, that's me. I did discover it, but that's not what's important. So all of you, don't be naive to think you're not breathing, drinking, eating chemicals. How many of you saw the report from 2 months ago? They're finding microplastics in our brain and in our coronary arteries. What else are they finding inside of us? Herbicides and pesticides and Scotchgard and Teflon. That the body, to protect us when we ingest this stuff, is taking that chemical and stuffing it in your fat cells called your visceral fat. Your visceral fat is the fat around the organs. Look at her stomach on day 1, everybody. Look at her stomach on day 30. That's a result of the researchers did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis proving this was removing this. You know what this is? It's a detox. It's not a diet. And remember, you only are doing this until you get the weight off. So then but what were the other things that you saw? In a month's time, people's hunger went down 41%. For the first time in history, in addition to measuring for toxins leaving the body, they measured inflammation, which plagues all of us. It's the underlying cause to every single disease out there, according to the medical world. And we're not treating, curing, preventing, or diagnosing any medical conditions. It went down 25% in 30 days because of one of these ingredients that come from the Himalayas. Right, from Nepal. You're not going to buy that at your local grocery store. Hello. This is a nutritional system. It represented creating the world's most perfect meals from a nutritional standpoint. Let me ask you, all of you that are watching this, Jazz or Tereka, what do you think about, well, let me show you some more things. Look, this is my friend's daughter. What about 60 pounds in 3 months? I'm not saying any of you need to lose 60 pounds, but look at that. Look at her face, her arms, her body. She's shrinking. It's not photoshopped, and it's the same woman, even though I get accused all the time. It's my friend's daughter. You think I'm going to Photoshop my friend? Maybe you would. We're so skeptical in this world, anything I guess is possible. It's my friend's daughter. And then, you hear, you get older, you can't lose weight, right? Well, don't tell, oops, sorry. He's in his mid-60s, 40 pounds and 52 inches in 30 days, and look at his blood work, his lab work. A1C, 8.4 to 6.4. Triglycerides, 242 to 124. Please, anybody comment. If this is real, here's what I tell people. Can you afford, because of your skepticism, to not go? The website's right there above her head in blue for everybody. The New Health Conversation. It's free to go there and won't contact you. You go to Google or your search engine, type in the New Health Conversation. I'm going to show you the website right now. There's nothing to hide. It's all out in the open and we will not contact you. There's the New Health Conversation. Boom, there's the website. There's nothing on there except the medical proof, including number 1 is an exclusive podcast with the number 1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. Also, if you do it, You get a free coach, and this is what they gave the patients in the medical studies called the Blueprint of Success. Each one of these yellows are daily videos from the researchers telling you this is safe, this is how it works, why it works. So it's a huge incentive. But you also have a live coach who would email you, call you, Zoom you, WhatsApp if you're in other parts of the world, because we have people here I know now in New Zealand and Australia and in Europe and all over the place. But again, for Jazz and Trey, oh, I see now, Trey, you're in Canada, I can tell. I should have seen that before. I was calling you Treyka, and now I realize it's Trey in Canada. I'm just curious what part of Canada you're in, because I went to high school in Detroit, not that that matters, and was a ski racer, and ended up, my training was up in, if you're anywhere near Toronto, you'd know about Georgian Peaks and Collingwood, etc. I love Canada. It's a great, great place. I live in Denver, Colorado, not that that matters to any of you, but I'd like the reaction to Jazz or to Trey. What do you think about what I've presented to you so far? Do you all agree if this is real? Well, let me ask you this. Are you willing to take a chance that you're skeptical? I'm not talking about anybody in specific, but are you willing to take the chance that this is real and you pass it up and you go on a diet and you listen, you know, that guy was right. I gained all my weight back. Now I got to lose weight again and again and again and again and again. It's yo-yo, yo-yo. You all know that's what's going on. And they said, the UCLA study, my God, listen to this, a landmark UCLA meta-analysis by Tracy Mann, one of the top weight loss researchers in the world for 30 years, and colleagues published in American Psychologist reviewed 31 long-term studies on calorie-restricted diets and exposed the harsh truth. What's the truth? The analysis concluded that dieting itself predicts future weight gain. What in the hell are we doing? It's not your fault. You're following these influences that are telling you to do something that's it's destined to failure. It's not my opinion. I mean, every one of these studies, and then it's even worse. Here's an excerpt from some of the experts. They said the calories in, calories out model is a public health disaster, adopted by nearly 100% of dieters, yet it drives an obesity apocalypse that threatens to engulf humanity. Calories in, calories out near universal failure is undeniable in studies in the Lancet 2021 and obesity reviews reveal that 50 to 70% of diets on calories in, calories out regain more weight than they lost, driven by metabolic adaptations, notably the surge in ghrelin, the hunger hormone. Ghrelin, which signals hunger to the brain, spikes during calorie restriction, intensive cravings, and appetite. Of course, because you're in starvation mode. You think that's why you have these terrible cravings when you go on these stupid diets, lowering calories and ignoring nutrition. The researchers knew that. That's what they did. They concentrated on make sure you had enough nutrition that your brain would never think you're starving to death. Look at the results, everybody. Look at that. Now, this really makes me happy. What do you see this? How about 200 pounds in about a year? Where's the loose skin? I know you think it's a different one. It's the same woman. She had no surgery. How amazing is that, everybody? What? I mean, it's just, this is going to change the world, and it could change your world or not. Let's go back to Kristen for a moment. Again, who would like to ask me a question or make a comment? Or if you don't like me, okay, that's all right. I get it. My job is to make you aware. That's my only job. It's not to sell you or give me. We have nothing to sell. We're going to coach you for free. Now, the reason that that's happening, that people go on this and have such unbelievable results, then their friend or their cousin or their spouse or something say, how did you do that? So they come to us and say, look, I'd really like to coach my friend. So we train them because they've got all the tools. See, they've already been through it, and they've already been through the blueprint for success. So it's not that difficult for them to coach you. But then we have specialists, like a diabetic. We have a coach that specifically is with diabetics or women with menopause. I mean, you know, a whole why. Because we have people with no thyroids doing this. We have a man with a heart transplant, kidney transplant, no gallbladder. We have a lady 91 years old. We have a 2-year-old. Those are different. Those aren't the same. That's why you need to have a consultation. Guess how much the consultation is? Get ready, everybody. $0. Guess how much the coaching is, everybody? $0. The coaching's free. The coaching's free. The coaching's free. The coaching's free. I get people put in the chat, how much is the coaching? Really? Nobody so far. But who else would like to ask me a question? And we're stuck at 711 likes. Come on, everybody. We can do better than that. Let's get some tapping going on the screen. Tap, 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 tap. Who else would like to ask a question? Who else would be excited about going to the website and seeing the medical proof? So, does anybody else have a question for me? Wow, I can't believe it's almost an hour already. That time flies when you're having fun. So again, who else would like to ask me a question about how is this possible, what they do, etc. But I don't know. If you don't put it in the chat, I have no idea if you've heard it or not heard it, or you're interested or you're not interested. We're not here to convince you. We're not going to do that. That's way too tiring. So Trey, do you understand now how it's possible to lose weight if calorie deficit doesn't work? Because it doesn't. It's not my opinion. I showed you just a handful of studies first time. Okay, Nikki, great, 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 great. You've made me happy, Nikki, because now I get to talk more. No, I'm kidding. All right, so Nikki, first of all, how long would you give yourself, Nikki, if I can ask you two questions? One, if you were going to lose 20 pounds on any diet, say you're not on this podcast today, how long would you give yourself? That's number one. How is this even possible? I'm going to explain it to you in just a moment. All right? I want these results, okay? So Nikki and Lala, if you were going to lose 20 pounds, how long, either one of you, just tell me how long you'd give yourself. And do either one of you know what a calorie is? The real medical definition of a calorie. So just contemplate that. If you want to put it in the chat, you don't have to. Now let's talk about how is this possible. I love that comment. Okay, 4 months, Layla. Okay, that's wonderful. Very honest. 2 months. So Nikki, you understand, she did that in a month with no exercise, and she only had 30 pounds to lose. So let's all keep that in perspective, all right? So here's what they did. First of all, who invented it? It is not a diet. It's not about counting calories. The researchers who created this are considered the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the entire world. Let's start with that. They had done 100 studies on human beings called peer-reviewed human trial studies over 40 years, and they came to one sad conclusion. After 40 years and all this analysis of every kind of diet by calories in, calories out, nobody ever kept the weight off long term, and 2/3 of people gained more than they lost. So the fatal flaw in a diet is the fact that you're counting calories. You have no idea what a calorie is, but guess who else doesn't know what a calorie is? Your body. The only thing your body cares about is air, water, and nutrition. So the problem with a diet is you lower the amount of food, and again, they're not taking into account that the foods you're eating, even on a diet, even if they're organic, are woefully short of nutrition. So the researchers said, we're going to go pick foods that have higher levels of nutrition in less quantity. No calorie counting. Let me say that again. No calorie counting. So they gave a food list to her and to you, but only 30% of what you would buy at the grocery store, like whatever you spent last month, only 30%, because they're going to give you serving sizes, proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, vegetables, and salad dressings. That is really important, but that's only 30% of what you're going to eat. Here's what made it work, why you could never do this with even organic food in this country. The researchers knew that our food in this country, in case you don't know, is becoming all but nutritionally insufficient. That's a kind way of saying deficient, okay? They found other researchers who spent 20 years going around the world to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition and small quantities of food. Some of the foods came from these blue zones you probably read about where people living to be 100 years old. Okay, so now they had the two food groups. But here was the other key. They created a nutritional system. There's no products to buy here, everyone. You're buying food, okay? And for example, if you're on supplements, unless it's under a doctor's orders like calcium or iron, you don't need supplements anymore. You're done with supplements. Those foods, for example, those foods around the world, they have things like 22 naturally occurring vitamins. So if you're all taking supplements down in pill form, it's made in a laboratory. No. It's in these foods from these foreign lands, right? So you've got the food list, 30% from the grocery, 70% from these exotic foods around the world. Now they created two new ways of eating. They actually got a registered trademark of this new way of eating called protein pacing. What does that mean? It means that 5 days a week, this is until you lose the weight, by the way. 5 days a week, you're having 4 meals a day. Remember, the key to this was to make sure you had enough nutrition that the brain would never think you're in starvation mode. True. So 5 days a week, 4 meals. Now, what were the meals? You started with these exotic foods around the world, lunch from the grocery, dinner from the grocery store, and a fourth meal after dinner from these exotic foods around the world. That's called protein pacing. 2 days a week out of 7. You do now. Don't get flipped out when I tell you this. They did a new concept, never done before, called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store. No, it's good. Only these exotic foods around the world. But listen to this. She ate 8 times a day. She was eating every hour and a half for 2 hours. Isn't that crazy? Crazy? They had diabetics, no insulin spikes, and they had people who weighed 400 pounds. They weren't hungry. If I can teach you anything, is this: forget calories. Your body has no idea what a when you're hungry, you're not hungry for Don't you say, oh, I need some more calories. No, you don't. You need more nutrition. Your brain is telling you you're starving to death nutritionally. That's why you go on these diets and become ravenously hungry. Your brain's going, feed me, feed me. It's not looking for calories, it's looking for nutrition. But this is the tip of the iceberg. What's the number one reason to do this, everybody? To detox. Now, what do I mean by that? Every one of you, including me, has this medical syndrome. It's a registered trademark U.S. Patent Office called TDOS. T for toxins, D for deficiency of nutrition, O for being overweight, S is for stress. It's a registered trademark U.S. Patent Office of a new medical condition. You've probably all heard of metabolic syndrome or syndrome X. Well, this is a new one. Oh, Peter Greenlaw, one who's, that's me. I did discover it. No, I really did. I really did discover it. So what the researchers did as part of this, they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, proving this was removing chemicals in the body. That's why her stomach shrank, everybody, with no exercise. Because see what happens with us when we ingest these chemicals from water, air, and food, the body takes the chemical and stuffs it inside the visceral fat. That's the fat around your organs. Look at her stomach. Detox caused that, not exercise. No one was allowed to exercise. They wore Fitbits to prove they didn't exercise. Not that you can't exercise, but the researchers isolated exercise. Otherwise, you'd say, well, they lost weight because it was diet and exercise. But other things, hunger came down 41% in a month. Inflammation, never proven. This is amazing. It came down 25% in a month. Those aches and pains and the stiffness as you're getting older, maybe, gone. Look, I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. The third part, and most important here, maintenance. Yes, you can sustain. That picture's 8 or 9 years old, and she's kept it off. Nikki, no idea about the calories. I'm in the UK. Perfect, Nikki. It's available in the UK. Tons of people in the UK doing this. We got people in Germany. We got people in France. We got people in Finland. All through the EU. It's not available all around the world. I don't have anything to do with that. It's the researchers where they're able to supply these exotic foods. Because remember, so what you get, Nikki, is a grocery store, 30%, or your supermarket. I think that's what you call them in England, right? I love the UK. I was in London 30 years ago. I was there every month for 10 days. I loved it, loved it, loved it. I get over drinking the warm beer and some of that, but you're all wonderful people. I'm suffering from acute. There you go, Nikki. Nikki, hello, hello, hello. Nikki, please listen to me carefully. Do you see in blue above her head there? Give me a yes if you can read that, the New Health Conversation. So I want you to do, you're invited to do it. I'm not your boss, okay? You type in Google, the New Health Conversation, and what you're going to see, it's going to take it. There's the site. Click on there. There's the medical proof. Nothing on that site except, but number one, you're going to want to listen exclusive podcast with the number one nutritional researcher in the world. But also, you're going to get to see the real studies. See, in the study, they proved inflammation went down 25% in a month. Nikki, how much would that be worth to you? Tell me, please. My God, it's late for you. You're like at 1 a.m, right? Am I close? Isn't it close to 1 a.m. there? Oh, I was overtime in TikTok. Yes, supermarket. Okay, I was right. Yes, it is. Wow, what are you doing up so late? Listening to me? What do you got, insomnia? I'm kidding. Don't get mad at me. I'm just trying to make a joke. And I love you. Are you in London or near London? Because I used to stay in London on Baker Street. And that's near Madame Tussauds, I think it is anyway. All I know is I'd go running in Kensington Park. It's so green. But here's the thing, Nikki, you'll laugh. So I went there every month for a year for 10 days, and I got rained on once. So that whole thing about raining in England is really overrated. Or I'm just the luckiest guy in the world. Ah, my gosh, that's I'm really laughing. So Nikki, again, I would say that the most important thing that you can do is go to the website, tomorrow sometime, look at everything, and then now the only thing is if and we Nikki, it's free coaching. Did you hear me? Free coaching, no gimmicks. But when you fill out the form, if you do, because we won't contact you if you go there, Nikki, so don't think that's going to happen, right? And if you put a phone number, we need your WhatsApp phone number. It's free. If you don't have it, download WhatsApp. Because for some reason, with your country codes and stuff, the coaches have complained about having trouble because we got a whole bunch of people in the UK, New Zealand, Australia, France, Finland, Norway. I mean, just it's great because this is going all over the world. Yes, I did hear that. Okay, great, great. We're having a heat wave currently. Wow, that's with no air conditioning. That's got to be a big challenge, right? I have WhatsApp. Well, then you're perfectly ready to go, Nikki. Just assure me you can read that website in blue, the New Health Conversation. Because some people say for some reason, they said blurry, whatever. It's really clear on my screen, but I'm not looking at your screen. A little challenging. Yeah, the heat, I'm sure it is. But do you see the website? So make sure you write it down because that is the key to all of this. And if you go there and like what you see, then you get a coach. There's no other way to get I mean, we're not forcing you to get a coach. But the coach is going to give you the grocery list, and they're going to coach you for free the whole time. They're going to be there for your support. I promise you. You're going to really love that part of it. Because they did it. They got coached. We all got coached ourselves. I can read it. Okay, great, great. Well, are you maybe you're up late because it's so hot. Is that what's going on? Of course, over there, I mean, you guys don't even go to dinner until like 10 or 11 o'clock at night. I was like, what? What? I got used to it. I even kind of like drinking the warm beer, Guinness and whatever. I love your pubs. I mean, I did as much tourist stuff as I could. I loved it. I went up to what is it, Cardiff by the Sea, and then but one of your stations on the train line, as you probably know, is barking. I'm going like, what? What? Barking? And of course, in the tube, it's mind the gap. I had to learn that. I'm going like, what the heck is that? Oh, insomnia. Okay, well, this really helps with insomnia also. Nikki, amazing, amazing with insomnia. Because, see, our bodies are out of balance because of all these chemicals we're storing inside of us. Is that a big surprise? Nikki, does it make sense? That's the most important thing. Does it make sense to you that this is not a diet and it's completely different and it's a detox? Does that make sense? I hope you're typing. Good, 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 good. So let's see, everybody. We're at 712 likes. Come on, let's get some taps, get me to 1,000. My main thing right now is this is my fourth one of the day. One of them was 3 hours, one was 2. So my voice, if I go too long, then like tomorrow, when I typically start about 8 Eastern time, and like tomorrow, I'll probably do maybe only 3 because I do need to rest my voice. But typically during the week, I'm doing 4 to 5 of these podcasts a day because there's so many people that need it. I've tried everything to lose weight and I've ended up injuring myself through exercise. Yeah, Nikki, I'll bet you have. Nikki, you're gonna love this. Now, Nikki, did you hear what I said? No one was allowed to exercise. They actually were what we call Fitbits over here to measure, your output. And she lost 21 pounds and gained, listen, Nikki, she gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. How's that sound? Do you understand this could give you real hope? The other thing I didn't even tell you, Nikki, all of you need to have this. So the 70% of the food you would buy, you're not buying from your supermarket, you're buying it from these researchers. They'll give you 100% of your money back guarantee in the first month, Nikki. No risk to you. So if you go and sign up for a coach that says 100% money back guarantee, but I always have to clarify for people, whatever you're going to buy at your supermarket, they're probably not going to give you your money back. But you're only going to buy 30% of what you did last month. So you're probably going to be shocked at how inexpensive this is because you're buying directly from those. You're not buying anything from us. You're not buying anything from the researchers. You're either buying directly from your supermarket or you're buying directly from the researchers. So that's another really nice part of this. So your risk is you don't do it and then you're struggling to lose weight. Yeah, hopefully. Nikki, okay, yeah, a dream come true. Well, let's see. We have some really motivated, great coaches because they got coached. Do you understand? They got coached. So, would anybody else like to ask me a question? There's Nikki at the top of the list, Claret and OPX. Can we get some more? Can we get some more taps? We're at 712. I'd like to at least finish with 1,000 likes. Come on, everybody. Is this great? Is this if it's valuable to you? Don't tap if it's not valuable. I don't need fake likes. Okay. I've spent 23 years of my life being in nutritional research to bring this to all of you. We really believe we're providing a wonderful, wonderful service to humanity. Where else are you going to find out about this? There's no, and what's cool is no products. There's not like, oh, buy a miracle elixir or something. No, no, it doesn't work like that. This is, and it's all based on medical science. Oh, we're at 7:33. Come on, let's see some more. I want to see some hearts going up there, everybody. It inspires me. Help me to get across the finish line here for today. 7:33. Okay, we're getting close now. We're getting going here, everybody. So would anybody else like to ask me a question? I mean, I'm serious. I'll stay around. If you've got a question, I'll stay and answer it until there are no more questions, I guess. Oh, what kind of exercise do you, again, Oscar, that's why you get a coach. They'll go over all the exercise with you. You'd probably be surprised at the number of times we want you to exercise. It's probably less than what you're doing now. Because to get this, remember, let me show you what happens if you do exercise. And this is I want to show all of you this. So this is a young man who is a surfer who lives in Costa Rica, who is really in great shape and did this program because he wanted to gain lean muscle mass, etc. Now, granted, wait till you see this, everybody. Okay, so day one, look at his stomach area, how, pretty good shape. But then look at, well, sorry, let me get out of the way. Day 5, that's 4 days in, that's the morning of day 5. And then day 12, that's the morning of day 12, that's 11 days in. Look at that transformation, everybody. Now this is not a diet. He did it to detox. Look at the muscle development in 11 days, everybody. Look at that. Now you can think it's fine. I had a bodybuilder telling me, you changed the lighting. I did? I don't think so. He lives in Costa Rica. How would I do that? By the way, I happen to know that person. That person right there, that's my youngest son who's 43 years old. Does he look pretty good for 43 years old? Now, granted, he does surf twice a day, and my grandson's there who's now 5.5. I can't believe it. And he put him on this program when my grandson was 14 months old. When his mom stopped breastfeeding, they switched him over to part of this. Isn't that cool? I mean, hello? Nikki, did you type in the new health conversation? Nikki, let me show you again. Watch it right there. Make sure it's the new health conversation. Make sure you type out the whole thing. It can have spaces. It doesn't matter. Boom, there it is, the new health conversation. There it is. Okay, you got it now? Or you mean you did, you typed it? I don't know. I mean, it works. It absolutely works. So I want to be clear. So you're not able to get this on Google? Really? I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm very curious because this definitely works. That's my only website. I don't have another website. So let me do it again, everybody. Hold on. So it's right there. You can do it, I guess, without spaces, maybe. I don't know. Or do www.thenewhealthconversation. You could try that. Try that, Nikki. www.thenewhealthconversation.com. Or do newhealthconversation.com. I guess that's it. Yeah, you don't need www. Just do thenewhealthconversation.com. Does that work? I don't want to hang up or get off this call until I know you're able to have access, because it sounds like this could really, really help you and change the rest of your life. So I'm not quite sure if the I did is I was able to get on, or I did try writing the new health conversation. I'm confused. And when I get confused, it's a bad thing. Nah, I'm kidding you. So Nikki, let me know. I'm concerned now that you're not able to get on, because that would mean other people maybe can't get on. But we haven't had any complaints today, because this is, like I said, I think this is my 5th podcast today. We've had all kinds of people, and people have, gotten coaches, and they're getting started, and it's very exciting. Nikki, did I lose you? Or did you lose me? Because again, I'm only getting podcasts or YouTube. No, you should be getting the new health conversation. I'm totally, let me see if I can do this actually. Let me try right now. This will be crazy if I can do this. I'm going to type in, I'm doing it on my computer. Okay, so the new health conversation. Oops. Yeah, it opens every single time right to the new health conversation. I don't know why it would be. Let's see. Let me try again. Okay, the new health. HEL. Yeah, it comes up every time. I'm not disagreeing with you. I don't know what's going on. Conversation.com. Okay, let me try that. Oh, health, HEAL. I spelled it wrong, so let me just see. Yeah, it comes right up when I do the new health conversation. So I don't know what is the deal with that, but hold on just a second. I'm only getting podcasts or YouTube. Well, I just typed in the new health conversation. It came up right away. I don't know what the problem is. Maybe you need to reset your cache. Are you on Google Chrome? Because that's what we use. We use Google Chrome. I'm not sure what you use in England, or in the UK, I should say, but yeah, and I don't know if you can see it if I type it in here, the new. Okay, the new health. Okay, let's see if. Okay, try your Chrome right now. Let's see. Because that's our only website. As a matter of fact, hopefully you can read it, the new health conversation. You can see it right there. I just typed it in for you. Because my TikTok handle is at the new health conversation. That's the other thing that's strange, right? But it's the new health conversation is where. So try that right now and let me know. I'm going to check it again just to make sure that I'm not losing my mind. Maybe I am. Mind's a terrible thing to lose, right? They say that. Okay, so let's try this. Hold on. So the new health conversation.com. Yeah, it opens right up. The new health conversation or the new health conversation.com, it opens right up immediately. There's no hesitation. Huh. So you're able to access it on Chrome? Because it's really critical for you to be able to go there, because otherwise, you can't get a coach. You can't. We have no other way. I promise, Nikki, it'll be worth it. Oh, good. I feel so much better. Oh my gosh. Well, sorry for keeping. Well, I guess you were up anyway. I don't feel quite so bad for that. But you made my day. That's the best way to close it out, when someone has, when they really want to find out and then they can't, and then we figure out how to do it for you. So anyway, have a wonderful, wonderful, well, I hope you go to sleep soon. And then obviously take a look at the website, and then tomorrow you can get a coach, right? So just to let you know, I'm in Denver, Colorado. Not that that matters. It's 6 o'clock in the evening here, but I know it's close to 1 in the morning your time, right? It is 1:09, I believe. Isn't that 1:09 a.m. for you? Am I pretty close? Well, it's okay. I'm gonna go to my local pub now. I'm being honest, all of you, after a long, long day. Okay. All right, everybody, I'm going to end this before my voice crashes and burns more than it already is. And hey, everybody, thank you so much for being here. We love the support. Tell your friends about the New Health Conversation. That website is available to everybody in the world for free. I mean, you don't have to be on my podcast to go to to go to that. Okay. Good night, Nikki. Bye, everybody.